They call it proxy voting. I call it exactly what it is: shadow voting. Democrats are turning away from their responsibility to their constituents by staying home and handing their voting card to Nancy Pelosi. They're handing over their voting card and not coming to work. But why? What's so important that they can't show up? You know what we found? Because they want to attend a space launch that never took off. Or they want to hang out on their boat. Who else do we know what else they have done? They don't have to show up to vote because guess what? Someone else will do it for them. Maybe if we renamed Congress the French Laundry, they all might show up here. This has been going on for months, and Democrats have worked overtime to hide it from the American people. To date, there has been 4,836 votes cast in this body by lawmakers who weren't even here. Think about that. 4,836 votes cast in this body by members who weren't even here. Over a dozen lawmakers have given their vote to Nancy Pelosi on every single bill since this scheme was in place. Last night, the number was over 60 Democrats. Nearly one-third of the entire conference of the Democratic Party did not show up for work. I promise you, each and every one of them will get their paycheck. Americans are working hard to keep their businesses open, to keep food on the table and their kids in school. They deserve a representative who will show up for the job that they said they would do, the job they asked people to vote for them, so they would come to Washington to give their voice to Congress, not to give it to Nancy Pelosi. This is embarrassing. Which this week is only about cats and cannabis when it should be about COVID. Think for one moment of what we're going to do in this body and the history of what's happened on this floor. The battle of civil rights. The question of whether enter World War I or World War II. The question if every man and woman is equal. Those are the things that debate on this floor. And they were debated in the times of need. Well, what's of need to the American public? We all know the challenge that's faced before us. We've been fighting it for months. But 40 times on this floor, the Democrats have said no. Our own Speaker of the House, Mr. Speaker, said we would not leave this body until we voted on COVID relief. You had 40 times to do it and you said no. 4,836 times the member didn't even show to cast a vote. And they still got paid. What about all those businesses that are shut down now permanently? There's more than $130 billion sitting to go to the workers for small businesses. 23 Democrats on the other side, Mr. Speaker, signed a letter in September and said if we do not get a COVID relief bill, we will sign that discharge petition. And what does that do for the American public? It goes around the Speaker of the House so the voice could actually come to the floor and the bill could be here and voted upon. And they said they would sign it if nothing happened. I wonder if their word will be kept. Because I look at the book, it hasn't. The Speaker of the House said we would not leave unless we had COVID relief. But they call us back, and what do they call us back for? The post office. Well, Republicans put up COVID relief on the floor that day, but Democrats said no. They call us back this week when people are hurting. People are losing their jobs. Maybe that's why one-third of the Democrats don't show, because they don't want to show their face to their constituents, that the only thing they're going to do on the floor this week is vote about cats and cannabis. That's wrong, and you know it. Everybody in this body knows it. It's despicable. If Democrats want to waste the American people's time with this ridiculous bills, They'll need to show up to do it. Republicans won't be a party to this unconstitutional, undemocratic mess any longer.